Come off it slowly. Oh, there we go. Now we've got it. How is everybody doing? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Tommy, can you hear me? Let's see here. Hear me, see me, touch me, feel me. Let's see, folks. Are we rolling into the chat? How's everybody doing? So today I had to, so my wife got surprise tickets, which was very kind of her, to a concert, a local concert, first concert in years. It was also the first or in a year and a half, first concert also that we ever went to together, and where we met. And so it's been kind of a cool thing that this band's gotten together and done it, but they're doing a surprise show. Yes, I am early because of this, because we have this concert and a dinner with friends that was a surprise, but I figured I'd rather stream now, try to get in before Father Fish, at least 40 minutes or something, or half hour before Father Fish got going, and we'll see what happens. I still, I think 7:30 is going to be the time on Fridays, but I didn't want to bump it back to Saturday right now. Might do an additional stream tomorrow too, or something along those lines, but I wanted to be here at least for Friday. But found out precisely 2 hours ago that very kind of my wife, but kind of sorry that ended up shifting everything this way. Any case, how is everybody doing? How's everyone doing? It's really a nice day here, 80 some degrees, 82 maybe, and I figured today any problems you guys have. Maple Street Aquatics is where you're coming from, huh? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Something is still not focusing super well. Might just be the light out here. But it's good to see everybody. Goose Not Maverick, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Deborah, good to see you. Holly, what's up? I saw some sad news. My heart goes out to you. 503, what is up, Shanna? Patrick, what's up? Brad, Rachel, Aqua Nugro, IG, Zwam, Jamal, nice to see you. Glenn, let's see, perfect time for live stream for us at the bottom of the world, midday here in New Zealand. Cheers. That's what I was trying to figure out, is when the new live stream time, if the 7:30 one that I want to stick to Pacific Coast time going forward. I know this is only the second Friday, and I gone done and messed it up, but if somebody wants to take over tonight's slot at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, please feel free to, if anybody's channel's watching that wants to take that time slot. But we're here now, and like I said, wife got me and her and our close friends tickets to this kind of surprise pop-up show in town, and it ended up being a band that we saw when we before we got married, when we met, and the night we met and everything. So it's kind of been a local band. They're called the Moon Doggies, if anybody was curious, but they've had a few radio songs, and they've toured Europe once, in the US like 3 or 4 times, but they're a local band that some of my friends went to high school with and stuff, so we always like to support them as well. Hello from Iraq. Right on. Where are you in Iraq? Backroom Aquarius, what's up? Good time for you? Yeah, I know. Everybody seems to like this time. It's a hot ticket time. Well, so today I want to answer any questions you guys have about anything. If I don't see questions, and the best way to do that is at Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, and then your question, but the at symbol, and or at Alex. If you are a channel member, like Randy Roman, I see, for instance, there's a little picture and your name is going to be highlighted, and so when you ask questions and things, your thing stays on my live stream, like preferred chat or whatever it is, a little longer. So it's not that I'm necessarily just trying to answer member questions first, but I tend to see those first. Let's see here. It started with 2 betas. Hello. And let's see here. Pompeii Ranch, hello. Wow, we got a bunch of members in a row speaking. And Steven, what's up? So let's turn this around. I went out collecting, and boy, do I have some footage for you guys. Man, this light is so intense out here today that we're really cooking. But we went out and we got all sorts of interesting plants out in the world. And if you guys have questions about anything else, just jump in. But these are all plants I've collected. I'm not bringing the plants inside just because I don't want to cross-contaminate. There are a lot of critters on, wild plants. So I didn't want to cross-contaminate anything. I'll treat the fish and deal with them. And then if I want the plants real bad, then I'll deal with that later. But we've got some of this local stuff that I've yet to ID for sure. It looks real similar to like some of the stargrass related stuff, and it was growing. It looked like a beautiful little clump of a bush underwater at pretty deep, like 4 feet. But then when I picked it, it happened to all be these long stringy things, and they had just like contracted. So throughout the day they get longer or shorter depending on how far they want to move for the sun. But my best score, the best haul of the day, and I'll show you this in a few forms, is the Ludwigia persicaria, and we've also got persicaria or Persicaria maculata also. But here we've got the Ludwigia. What is this? Ludwigia. Now I'm gonna space on it. Persicaria. Ludwigia No, that's Ludwigia palustris. Sorry guys, jeez. Ludwigia palustris. This is one that's cool because this is an ADA tissue culture, and it normally can run a lot of money. I mean, $12.99 for a little cup. And I was able to pick, I literally could have picked as much of it as I wanted. And I've got pictures that I uploaded onto members. I've got pictures, like extra pictures to show you, but even just anybody under the community tab, no matter who you are, you can see pictures of some of this stuff and some of the fish. And I've got videos that I need to edit that are bits and pieces. This is a wild kabamba. This is a North American kabamba, the caroliniana, which has made its way to the West Coast. There is some debate now. I was just reading online that some people are wanting to call this Kabamba americana because it's found all over the U.S. and has been for like 100 years, like no joke. But it's a nice one. It's got kind of purple underneath. So I like that one also. And then here we've got Aloidia, however you want to say it. And then there's also, which looks really similar to Anacris too. And then we've got a couple different myriophyllums, also known as milfoils. But there's red milfoils, there's orange ones, yellow ones, green ones. That's Guyanensis, I think. And then we've got Potamogeton gayi, which I was surprised to find this in the water, but I did. And it always has this kind of cool, whoops, let's see if we can get it doing its thing. It's got this kind of cool pattern where it shoots off either side. Get it in the sun maybe? But it alternates shoots. I'll just float it in here and then it'll do it. There we go. Alternate shoots out each side like that. And then it goes usually green, like dark green, then lighter green or bronze or yellow, and then a mild green, and then back to dark green, then bronze, yellow. You get it. Then we've got a nice Nymphea lily that I grabbed. And then also back to the Ludwigia persicaria. This I put in a few days ago. Can we get this to focus light-wise? And it's already righted itself and put down roots. It's long enough that it's like 2-3 feet long, some of these shoots. and it's put down roots into the gravel, even outside. So that's nice. This I didn't collect, but from Aquatic Arts, I got the red root floaters that they have for sale, and these are just killing it outside. They're doing great. I mean, the guppies are looking phenomenal. They look like they're on fire, like metallic wise, just shining, shining, shining. And then also my paradise fish had eggs, so those are up here right now. And then the danios, stop. Then the danios are doing well. Let's see, if we open up an area, they should come up. These are the longfin danio rario. So they're same as the zebra danios, but they're just spotted like a leopard. So then this is Najaensis guatamus, I think is how it's said. And this is very, very similar to just normal Naja guppy grass that you'd find at stores. However, there's a version that's found in Japan and in the Pacific Northwest, up in Vancouver, BC, and here in Washington, parts of Oregon. And this is basically another Naja grass that you just throw in, let it float, and it'll just grow as is. So that's an easy, no-brainer plant to have. And also the guppies are definitely having babies, which is nice. And then the other tub that we can try to get another look at, but we'll go through the plants first. So then we've got Persicaria maculata, which looks really killer. This is a native plant too, and it's just red and purple as is already. And just keeping it wet, it'll be okay. It in theory wants some nutrients, but it's doing okay. It's hanging on there fine. Let's see what else is in here. This is the other prize. Bentley Pasco actually posted this to his Instagram too. He found some of this in a, oops, sorry guys, I know it keeps saying rotating screen for me for some reason. But this plant is really beautiful, and when you look at it up close, it's really crazy. It's got a red stem, orange stem, then yellow and green. And then it's got these purple blobs. Now, these purple blobs on some of the plants underwater, they're just dots. But when they get out of water, they start taking the shape of like a moth or a heart, kind of, if you were to look at it the other way. And then let's see if we can find another piece that's even more out of water adjusted. We're working in the shade here, folks. We're shady business. Also, Ludwigia ovalis I found too. So that's one that you'll find online for sale a lot, but that nice oval shaped leaf. And then let's see here. Did I put it all in the other tub? I may have. Oh, here we go, right here. So check out the shape of the markings here. So these look like full-on hearts or arrows, or I don't know, that almost looks like a bowl, but they're purple. And when they're out of water, they're real bright. So like this one was probably the most out of water. It's real big plant, and you can see they look like hearts. That one's got the kind of little stabby points on it still too. But yeah, so there's that. So pretty good haul as far as that stuff went. And then we've got another tank or another tub that I'll show you guys too. I wrote down, let's see, so that one though is gonna be that's the Persicaria maculosa. And Persicaria maculosa has the heart shape, and if it has the dot shape, purple, and it is a dot but out of water and no purple underwater, then it's Persicaria virginiana, and that's from Appalachia originally. And so that is a native US plant, but it is, I guess, invasive in this specific region. Are you guys hearing me okay, seeing me okay? All that, we're on the supposedly 4K cam, and we've got a clip-on mic, but I don't know how well the internet's pulling. Yes, also, by the way, Aquatic Arts is moving, as you know, and they are now doing a 30% off sale. They've lost a lot of the stock that they had, just because people have bought it, but there's still a lot of good stuff. Anything other, or any fish or crayfish right now, 30% off till Monday. No code needed or anything. I don't get any commission or support or anything from it, but I do want to support them, and I do want to tell y'all about that, because you guys save money. It's a great deal. You know, everybody wins, right? So these ones are looking pretty depleted. I don't know why. These ones, we've already looked at all these, but it's the pH in this tank, as we've talked about before. This is a little Medaka rice fish tank, and this tank has been set up for years, and I brought it to this house all cycled and set up. But the pH in this case is actually alkaline, and that's why I get the slight purple to bluish color rather than all just blood red. We've got like this turquoise and purple color on the Azolla, which is native here too. But you can see here that this plant is just killing it here. The Ludwigia rubra there, which is like also known as super red Ludwigia if that were underwater. And so yeah, and then this is the same. So here is the one we were looking at just before that has the hearts on it above water, and already it's losing those hearts as it's being completely immersed. But we had the flowering one here, and this one just has dots. They're more of a triangle, but this was actual underwater growth here, and this was a flower just like underwater. And so yeah, this is the flower. It's pink and white, and it looks like little granules, and that is the Persicaria maculosa right there, and then that's the Virginiana, which is the East Coast variety from the swamps in Appalachia. So you can see the size difference of the leaves and stuff. Then we also have an oxalis. By the way, this is called the Jesus plant, and this is called, what's the common name for this one? I wrote it down on a piece of scrap paper here. Jump seed. This one's called jump seed. Stop saying rotate device. Sorry, guys. And then over here, we've got Creeping Jenny and Creeping Charlie. Then we've got a local, or not local, but locally found Ludwigia, or not Ludwigia, Rotala. We've got a Rotala indica there. And then we've got the red oxalis plant that looks like the clover. And then what I was talking about again, if we look here, this is all about the pH. And you see how you can get red and orange? Well, you can also get blue and purple. So this is acidic in this tank, in this bucket, essentially. And that's why you get the color difference instead of the nice purple and almost sea foam green. And that's because anthocyanins, which cause color in plants, that cause blue in blueberries and things like that, they are triggered by the pH in the water. And so that's where we get them from. And when you boil blueberries, that's why they go through a red phase, kind of like a red syrupy looking phase when it's rolling. And then if you put baking powder, baking soda in that, then you'll end up like you do for a lot of recipes for pie fillings and things like that. It'll turn all the way down to a blue or black color. So like a blue purplish black color. Whereas if you keep it acidic and add lemon or lime juice like some recipes call for, keeps it in it keeps it in the or sorry, other way around. It keeps it in the redder spectrum. So alkaline blue with the baking soda, baking powder, and acidity red. So, and then purple is neutral, but it usually goes through purple one way or another. Um, but also, you know, light and nutrients do play a role in that. Yes, it is Azolla for sure, Randy. And also, Patrick, or wait, who said it? Dragon Lair, awesome. Those Turkish green angels are beautiful. They had some Turkish blue angels that I had. That's what Sergio was, half Turkish blue and half smoky chocolate. That I had gotten crossed from them when they were actually allowing them to cross in tanks 4 years ago at Aquatic Arts. And so, yeah, that he was a cross between the two of those. And they're just beautiful, those babies, because he'd have babies and he'd throw random mixes of the two. So let's see what else is new, guys. K Stu, what's up? It's good to see everybody in here, even though I'm not on time. Let's see here. My water's pretty soft, so I'm not sure what's up. Taylor Lee, would you have a question, Taylor? Oh, AR can be a funky plant. For some reason, they like to call it easy. It's not easy. AR, Alternanthera renickii, is not an easy plant. If you have really soft water, it's easy to have it melt and kind of rot and turn mushy at the base, and you get bronze leaves on top and just slightly pink on the bottom. Whereas if you have medium TDS, it does okay. If you have high TDS, it can also just thrash it. And it all just depends on how it was grown, or if it was a tissue culture. If it was a tissue culture, then it's going to want more neutral. But if it was grown in, say, Florida, like if you get it from Petco or Aquarium Co-op or whatever, most of those people are buying from the Florida Aquatic Nursery, FAN. And they sell 80% of the plants in the aquarium hobby. And they do a fine job and everything, but they grow Emersed, and then it's Florida, and their TDS is somewhere between 600 and 1100, depending on which farm it came from and which section and how hot it is and the time of year and all that stuff, because it's all fed by irrigation into these trays in rows. I'll have to go film it next time I'm down there, if they'll allow me to. So let's see, were there any other plants we missed? I have lots of cool fish to show you too that I filmed, and there's pictures of them on the North American Native Fish Facebook group that I put up. And then there will be, obviously I'll be editing that footage, photos and stuff soon too for you guys, but I found a few native bass, some tadpoles for bullfrogs, invasive bullfrogs, that were, one was 8 inches long and probably almost a pound. I mean, this thing was so muscular. It was like holding like a freaking snake or something. It was, you see how they take over. Let's see here. So, Backroom Aquarius, thanks for joining. I appreciate. Is that who joined? Did I miss something? I feel like I saw it. Yeah, Backroom Aquarius, thank you so much for joining as a member. It means a lot. I appreciate it. And you can go out the pictures, like I was saying, that are on the community tab. You should be able to see everything that's up right now. Like I said, don't like Dragon Lair, thanks. You like seeing the posts on the North American Native Fish Association, NANFA, Facebook. Yeah, you know, I figure I wanted to show members, but I do want to kind of like secretly put stuff out there so that anybody could find it if they were doing the research or looking, or if they follow me really closely. So even though members, yes, you guys get it spoon-fed or handed over to you in the community tab or whatnot, or in posts or videos that you guys will be able to see and maybe others won't. It all gets out eventually, because I just hate being a gatekeeper of information. when I learn something cool. And then, yeah. Let's see here. Rachel Game says, I think the local fish store was keeping the bumblebee gobies I bought in freshwater. Should I keep them going in freshwater or introduce them to brackish? So go to aquaticarts.com. Look at their species that they have of their fresh. It's going to say bumblebee goby, true fresh water. There's one species out of 13 that are brackish and 23 that are saltwater and brackish, if that makes any sense, if you count both groups. So there's almost 24 little gobies under an inch that have bumblebee stripes. It is very common for the stores to not know what they have, or for a trans-shipper or importer to incorrectly write something on a bag and say bumblebee goby FW. And that might mean fresh water to somebody, and that might mean, I don't know, nothing. It could just be a code. It could just be female, I don't know, whatever. Something. Or it could just be something for their own shipping info. It's very frustrating sometimes when you see how things are marked when they arrive in. And so unless they know their shippers really well, like some local fish stores do, but others just get in, 20, 30 bags, and it's really hard to know what's what. So I would go there and then take a look closely at the differences and try to figure that out. It started with 2 bettas. Thank you so much. First super chat of the night. Whoa, whoa! Was that enough excitement? I wonder if tissue culture plants are less hardy than propagated plants. Ruby begonia. That's a great subject that we could probably talk about for an entire hour, honestly. So I have a few episodes where I go over the science and the process in which tissue culture plants are created and propagated, and also then how we transfer them and immerse them and things. And it is... it's hard to say. If you have a completely pristine environment and you know what the plant needs, then they are more hardy in my mind, because they don't have any pathogens. Even one little cluster of cells is enough for angiogenesis or pangenesis of the plant, where you've got undifferentiated cells that are stem cells. So it's almost like having the exact clipping you need to graft a cell, plus the grafting agent, like the liquid that you'd put on a tree. Are those enzymes? I don't know what they are. But when you graft, say, like an apple tree, you cut off a branch, and then you cut another branch off another apple tree, or slash it, and then you tie it around the open wound on the tree to the heartwood, and then you put on this liquid, and it's an enzyme basically of stem cells from the plant that you can make out of sap, pitch, other things too. And there's like specific for a species, and then there's more like a general like cloning agent essentially. And same with marijuana, same with a lot of plants, tomatoes, orchids, whatever. But the tissue culture plants are already, the whole plant was made out of those cells not long ago, only 3 months ago. So you have that ability to literally, like a leaf on a tissue culture has the chance of still having some of that, they call it nodes, the undifferentiated cell tissue nodes, has that chance of growing into a whole plant again, which gives you a lot more resilience and redundancy in its growth. However, they're also very prone to melting, and being that they are this clone, they don't have a root structure that is really robust usually right away. The plant takes a little bit to click on, not that they have a brain, but to send the signals that like focus on roots, focus on growing up. They don't quite know what's up from down, kind of, in a sense. And so they're growing equally, stems, roots, and they're the age of, the other thing is, which can be a pro or a con, they're the age of whichever was the host plant that was selected for the cloning or the tissue culture. They're going to be that age when you get that plant. So when you get Rotala indica that is in an ADA or I don't know, 123 grow, or Dennerley or whatever container, that plant could be 15 years old. That cutting that it's from, it could be propagated in the lab for a really long time and just cut. And so the other thing is you can start growing tissue cultures very frequently. You can flower and fruit them very quickly, whereas the other ones you need to grow all the way from however old they are when you get them, obviously, because they're their own plant, unless they're a clone of the plant. Let's see here. Kevin's Canines. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. $3.99 super chat. I appreciate you, buddy. Oxens. Yes, oxens. Let's see here. What kind of fish and oh, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, coffee talking. All right, we got 70 people in here. If you could do me a favor and smash the like button. Did I get your attention? Was I scary? Did I scare people? I would appreciate that. Or you could hit the dislike button. People have been liking that lately. You know, this channel went from last week and the last 4 months. It's been just cruising, like gaining 10% every 2 weeks or a month as far as views and comments and all that. And then this week, all of a sudden, it's dropped in half. Don't know what happened. Don't know if there's something changed with the algorithm. If my videos just suck. It's just funny because it happens when I spend the time and money on the new equipment and all that jazz. But I'm not going to read it that way. I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. But it is one of the frustrations when you're a YouTuber. You're like, oh, what? How do I appease the algorithm gods? Let's see. Oh, Melissa had a question. What was it? Hey, Biscotti, what's up? Any tips for growing plants in immersed form in a dome thingy? I'm trying to recoup investment on plants. Yeah, honestly, don't flood them out. Don't flood out their roots completely unless they are actual clones that are already being grown hydroponically. Tissue culture plants are like in a state of I don't know what I'm doing. And they have undifferentiated cells like I was just talking about. And so they don't know if they're submerged or immersed either. So it's very odd in that they're the only way that a plant's ever going to be that way, other than maybe 3 days to a week of its life if it's going through the rainy season or dry season and switching back and forth. And that's a very, very stressful time when all these hormones and things get changed in a plant. And so the quicker you can do that, the quicker you can usher it over, the better. And if you've got like a crypt or something and you're trying to move it into submerged, a lot of people will just say cut off all the leaves as long as you've got a decent amount of root tissue, like a few branches on the main, like, so crypts generally have a taproot and then they have a few other roots for nutrients. And the taproot is important. It gets the water, it gets macronutrients. The other roots do get water also, but they are using that water to get their micronutrients, their metals and elemental nutrients, their phosphorus, stuff like that, or not phosphorus, that's also a macro. Their potassium and things like that. And magnesium and manganese. So nutritious soil with lots and lots of fertilizer basically is the key. And if you don't have to worry about fish or anything, if you've got like a dome, mist the inside of the dome or the plants with a spray bottle with just distilled water, and then you can add a tray of like clay beads or something if you want, or you can use regular soil, but you just have to be careful for rot and things when you've got a humid environment that has all this biological matter and the agar or auger from tissue cultures. If you have any of that left, one, yes, it can stick on the roots of a plant, and sometimes I've even used like on crypts like pink flamingo, I've kept that sticky agar or auger on the roots of Anubias and Bucephalandras and crypts, and let it grow like under sand, like put sand down and then flood the sand and then mist the terrarium or whatnot, or completely submerge it. But one fish will nibble on that and it's got ammonia and things like that in it usually, and all these other chemicals for the plant's needs. So it depends on what the plant is, what the brand is, what will be in that. But there's also hormones and things like that too that can throw off, breeding cycles and stuff for your fish. So you got to be a little careful about that. But putting them in the terrarium, misting the terrarium. Actually, what is it? The glass box. Is it glass box? Why can't I think of his name? Cheng. Glass Box Aquarius, is that what it is? Is that his channel name still? But in any case, it is there's a channel, and he has a video on the dry start method, and I think it's called the Glass Box Aquarius, but I am totally spacing for some reason on if it's still called that. Joe, hello, welcome. CJ, hello, welcome. Plant roots are horrible. I have 2 years of roots with agar junk still on the roots. Yeah. Sharon, how to sex a pandagara? That's a rough one. The colors, usually the males tend to have the yellow on them, so you'll see a cream color with a yellow and an orange with a red, so she'll get the nuance in colors, whereas the females will just be like cream, brown or silver, and orange, like 3 colors, whereas the males will have kind of like a rainbow of those colors, kind of like a 70s van is painted, like that old style orange and brown and cream colors from like a bowling alley in the 70s. It started with 2 betas, and but really you can't tell physically as far as anything I've ever read, other than if they're sparring. If they're sparring and you see the little onodontodes, that's a good indicator too, but it's not surefire. But if they're sparring, like fighting, then you know that they're males. If they're slamming into each other, wrapping around each other, and wrestling, only the males do that, other than for a quick moment. Super Mumbles, what's up? Don't sweat it. People are probably on vacation. Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of going back to normal too right now. Everything's not being locked down anymore. Where was the bubble nest thing? I don't want to miss it. But if there's bubbles at the surface, is it a gourami or a betta or what fish? For you, Alex, she was asking about bubbles at the surface of water. Could the bubble nest, or could it be biofilm? Biofilm will have a sheen that looks like gasoline. It like, take your phone flashlight or an LED or a really white light, if you've got some sort of white light or natural light, and look at the tank from like even with the water almost, and if you see swirls that look rainbowy, that's probably a protein film. Now that doesn't rule out eggs, but it tells you that the bubbles could be from that. Now the worst cause of what could cause bubbles on top of your water would be ammonia. Ammonia and high nitrates can also cause that, and so for that matter, so can really high TDS, calcium and things like that just built up in the water can cause that. But usually that's not as harmful. You just need to do a water change, and you're all good. But of course you don't want to do a water change if you think you have babies. So you really should see in almost every species, unless you have really, if you have impaired eyesight, you should see the eggs. So I've got some paradise fish here, and they've got pretty darn small eggs. Let's turn this around. They've got pretty darn small eggs, and they lay like hundreds of them at once. And you can still see their eggs compared to duckweed. The only fish that have, I mean, and bettas are around the same size. It's not having a good time focusing on that egg. But there's the egg right there. There's one. There's another one that dried up off there. And then over here, if we take a look in the shade, there's an egg there. There's eggs right there. Then there's another one next to it. There's another one right there. So I mean, compared to your hand, And that's about as small of an egg as you're usually going to see in this hobby. Usually. I can't always say that, but usually that's the case. And so look for bubbles where if the bubbles are right by the hang off the back filter or a sponge filter, then they may be from something more nefarious or something going on in the water. But if they're around the corner farthest from all the wave action, then that's usually where like a betta or gourami or something like that would tend to want to put their nest, or they'll put it like right here where everything's floating right under the surface, and they've got some surface tension and plants to work with. That's the other spot. I'm also the same other ones. I'm trying some in the shade and some in the sun. Because some eggs do not like sun. UV light can kill some eggs, whereas others, they don't mind it. It helps the green water, and being warm is just as important. So I split the eggs into this container and that container. Some people would aerate them, but since they're paradise fish that I'm taking care of, I'm not worried about it. But she was in here right under the surface guarding her nest for the last 3 days, which leads me to believe that they're near hatching age, and there's a normal male in here, and so I have to kind of wonder if he fertilized the eggs or not. They're not white. Usually eggs will look very white if they're not fertilized. By the way, this is some of the sticklebacks too that we got. Have a whole video coming out on different sticklebacks that we caught. We caught some beautiful ones. But there's also in here, we've got some sculpin now. We've got some baby bass, largemouth bass. We've got the paradise fish. And so we've got the albino paradise fish along with the, what was the other thing we put in here? Oh, right. We put rock bass in here too. More of these silly sticklebacks. I put sticklebacks galore in here. And again, I'm churning the water so the eggs could get knocked off their the surface tension that they're kind of floating on. I'm not too worried. I don't really want mom guarding them like a nutcase. Here's some longer sticklebacks and possibly a young muskie, because they put them in the lake here, even though they're not native to our area whatsoever. They put them in the lake here to try to kill the carp. And so you see the tiger striping going on and the long body on that one fish. What is this other fish next to it? I don't even know. Why don't I know what fish is in my tank? In my pond? What are you? Turn sideways. Oh, it's a long-nosed suckerfish. That's what it is. A native too. That green one. I just saw Mama. Where'd she go? Oh, here she is. All right. So here's Mama with another stickleback. But here's Mama paradise fish, just chilling, doing her thing, trying to guard the water, trying to bite me and kill me if I come and touch her babies. But she doesn't seem to realize I already took her babies. They're already in here. And this water isn't super warm or anything, which surprises me. But the sun isn't on this tank like all day or anything like that. But the other thing I want to show you guys is that these are all young guppies in here. There's only a few that are even showing adult colors. Oh, the other plant that I got is a yet to be identified, not sure what it is. Some sort of like freshwater seaweed type thing. But I don't know what it is, but it's red, and I'll figure it out. But look at the colors on, for instance, this guy. Oh, stop bouncing all over. The colors on that guppy. Just incredible, whoops, rainbow colors. And it's young. I mean, these fish barely have colors, and they're incredible blues. And I mean, the sun, green water with algae and little bugs and, you know, mosquito larvae, all the stuff that just is out here without me feeding them or doing anything for them is just so good for the rice fish, the guppies. The you can see mama guarding her babies right under the water there. So I still do see eggs. They kind of reform up after you leave them alone. So, all right, let me check out the questions. I'm getting hot out here. Need some of my Dr. Pepper to survive. But yeah, I'm excited to cut down the videos and show you guys some of the cool spots I've found lately. I've been driving about, I don't know, a half hour or so and finding new spots to collect fish and plants. And they're all kind of, what would you call it? Urban to suburban. So it's kind of cool finding them. In the past years, I've found a few plants. I'll show you real quick. The ones that are native that I've found, or that are maybe not native, but that I collected, I should say. Let me wash my hands real quick because we were just touching plants out in the tank. We don't want to cross-contaminate. Lots of different algae and things that can be on a plant, for sure. And then I always buy this. It's always the same price around me, the isopropyl 91% alcohol. But if you don't cut it down with glycerin or aloe vera or even water to 70%, it evaporates too quickly to fully treat bacterial or other small pathogens. So hold on one sec. Let's mount this little gimbal thing real quick so I can actually sterilize my hands. So you want to cut it with something like that, ideally, or do it a few times in a row, and then it stings and dries out your hands and blah, blah, blah. But to really make sure, you know, that it's okay. But this, when it's 91% like this, it evaporates so quickly off your hands. It's not actually doing good. And that's why when the pandemic was going on in full swing, you would see that all the hand sanitizers were suggested at like 65 to 75%, with 71 being the doctor's whatever. Robbie Noel, contest question. Does a terracotta pot with the top inch of water and some visible substrate count as immersed? Yeah, sure. I'm wondering if there's any interest to grow hydroponically that's not pothos or spider plant. Been concerned about poisoning my fish, but I don't want the usual. Yeah, that's a good question, Rachel. Most plants are not going to give off stuff into the water that poisons. There's a conservation of their fluids, essentially, of their chemicals. And unless something's eating the roots, like heavily, like goldfish or something, that's when you do need to worry about, like, okay, are these plants poisonous? Like, I think like poinsettias and that family, or the nightshade family, can have problems, obviously. But if it's a plant that is poisonous, usually they won't just put poison off into the water. So you don't really need to worry about that a whole lot. Think about if the Amazon had poisonous plants, just like you'd have so many dead fish. They only really do it when under attack, so to speak. So this is looking all raggedy, but this is the rotundifolia that we saw outside, but collected from another spot, the Ludwigia. And then this is another Ludwigia glandulosa. You can see similar, it looks like the rubra kind of, which is just a Ludwigia glandulosa, super red. Some people consider it an actual species of its own, some don't. This was a moss that I collected 3 years ago, and it didn't want to be submersed at all. And now it's stuck in there. Like, that moss lives in that bowl now. So it's kind of funny how it can take a while to transfer plants over sometimes, and some aren't strictly speaking aquatic plants. But if they have even half of their leaf material up and out and able to respirate and transpirate water, air, CO2 back and forth, all that stuff, then they're able to survive underwater the rest of the time. So that's technically an immersed plant, all those over there. And some, though, will be able to do that, and then the baseline, all the other pieces of that plant can still be underwater. So there's that. Over here, let's see here. Robbie, where... Did I not answer Robbie? I thought I did. Okay. Secret history inside your aquarium. Thoughts on longevity of DIY CO2 generators, tank dose with easy green, sea cam, root tabs, plant, creeping Jenny, dwarf hair grass, and water tank. That's an interesting question. That's a complex question. You got a lot of questions in there. So the DIY CO2 generators work okay if you've got a 10-gallon or a 5-gallon tank. I've yet to see one work well for anything bigger. Even like a 20 or a 15, they just don't seem to work well. They may add a little oomph of something. Now, this tank, you can see I've got, well, you actually can't see it accurately, but this is like, if you see the reel counter, this is just a check valve. This is about 4 bubbles a second. It's rolling. These plants are under high light. This is a Fluval 3.0 and an Archaea light side by side on a 17-gallon tank. Or a 60p, I guess. But, and there's an HOB that's moving water around, but it's pretty full of plants. So there isn't a ton of movement. The fish do move the water around too. But point being is when I put even this strong of CO2 in here half of the day, every day, I'm still not getting the dense growth in this tank, even in this corner. And this is about 4 times faster than you're ever going to get the DIY CO2 to work. So I would say that the DIY CO2, if done properly with the right yeast, and the best way I've seen it done is with the agar or gelatin, where it's a slow release. You can Google that, or on Reddit and things, people have posted about it. I think Tom Barr on the Barr Report may have even covered it, but it slowly allows the fuel source for the bacteria to be eaten and consumed, and then that creates the CO2 reaction with the yeast over time. Patrick Hardy, and then as far... oh, wait, let's see here. What did I miss? Why am I missing so many questions today? What is going on with this? Let's see. Are people saying at the secret history living in your aquarium? Because I'm not seeing anything highlighted. Like, nobody's... I've seen at Alex. At an auction here in Houston out of the collection, it had around 11 papers on fishes in Oregon, Washington, Systematics, 1909 to 1985. As kind as that is of you, Patrick, I think I'm okay because I've got access to UW's archives through friends, and as cool as that info is, I bet you there's a more comprehensive survey that was done there. And unfortunately, any fish that may have been overlooked has probably gone extinct, or it's somewhere remote that, like, it could be cool to go do, like, to go explore to see if the reports of that fish still being there are accurate. But, I mean, that's something that takes a few people and sang nets, and it's technically illegal, and you need permits, so I couldn't upload it online and show you guys if it was a protected area or anything like that. It is cool, but I mean, unless it's just laying there for $1.99 or something, don't go out of your way. But I mean, that is really cool info. It's just I don't want to put you out or you know, anything like that. But thank you so much for the offer. Sorry guys, I didn't realize I missed that one all the way back there. Randy, thank you. Where am I at now? I'm trying to go. Water box. Yeah, that's it. Not glass box. Water box. Chang. Yeah. Thank you. The aquarium I was trying to remember. So, yeah, look up water box dry start method, and that's he had like a video about 3 or 4 years ago when he and I were both learning how to do that. Like, we both did our first tanks together and kind of consulted one another about doing like a full ADA style tank that way. And yeah, we learned a lot, and then he, you know, asked a lot more people. He's down in Cali, and it was more popular in Cali earlier than here. Alyssa, what's up? Just dumped the shrimp from my filter back into the tank. I think they're bypassing the coarse pre-filter sponge. How often do you want to be like, yo, shrimp, stop doing that? Yeah, I know. That's tough. If they're teeny tiny shrimp, I mean, they're just gonna get in. The thing is, I've watched them, and while I like aquarium co-ops filters for a lot of things, for shrimp, I'm a little concerned that, I mean, my baby shrimp, I've watched them crawl in and disappear into that coarse filter a bunch of times. The really young ones, like under a month old, and usually they just come floating out the stack. But I mean, as far as that goes, as a pre-filter on an intake, then up into a sump / HOB or whatever, like, I don't think that foam. I think that foam is too coarse. It makes very often. That is something you'll have to weigh. Let's see here. Yeah, how's everyone's competition going? I just want people to have fun, you know. I just want y'all to have a good time doing it, so don't stress out about it. Oh, this was another plant that I got locally. This is Colorado, Bacopa Colorado. It turns a nice red color, like all the way in this spectrum of red over here, when it gets out of the water, and its leaves start to turn upward and get bigger. Whereas the Cabamba caroliniana stays smaller, and you get veins in the leaves. Also, this is another local gathered one that a lot of people want because you're not supposed to have it. It's a noxious weed. You can't buy or sell it or transport it, but if it just shows up on your shoe or in your aquarium or on your boat prop, then in theory you can have it. You just can't sell it or transport it. So, wow, magically appeared in my tank 4 years ago, and that's that. But I found it at Green Lake, in all honesty. Let's see here. Can you tell me if a hillstream loach are safe with Thai microcrabs? I would definitely say no. I don't know that for sure, but my gut is immediately like, bad idea. Like, my Thai microcrab sounds like a perfect snack for any loach other than a panda loach. This is another plant that I want to plant outside. You guys probably saw this one last time, but look at all the runner or the nutrient stems ready for it. Then the main stem becomes the taproot at the end of the line. Then it will put out another 2 taproots, and you'll get the big spike taproot. And then all these are for nutrients and holding on loosely. Hang on loosely, and don't let it go. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see. What else is going... Is it normal for Anubias to get orange ear... Oh, near the roots? Brand new planted tank. It depends. If you have iron in your tank... Let's take a look at mine. If you have iron running dosed in your tank, then that happens. I had a piece of Anubias in here that was doing something similar. Come on. If you mean by like orange like this, then yes. It can mean that it's dying, so you want to feel it. Like this is getting mushy. See that? See how starch is coming out? That means the shrimp or probably more than likely my gobies are who are munching on it. But they're doing a favor. Snails, gobies, shrimp. And they're letting you know that that orange stuff, that's dead tissue. So you can just use your finger, and if it doesn't slough off with your finger, if it's too hard for that, then don't worry about it. Then just leave it. You can leave it anyways, but slowly it can build ammonia. If you have a big giant leaf cluster with rhizome all over the place. By the way, yesterday Bentley Pasco was mentioning how he wanted to do a carpet of Nymphaea in his tank, in a low light tank, or by blasting it with highlight. Well, I've been working on it and I didn't want to tell him, but I'll show you guys, since it's actually traveled a significant length of the tank from the corner here all the way to here in the back, kind of a back triangle of the tank. And that's a Nymphaea minutia. So it's not the big Nymphaeas or anything. And then here's the normal water lily or tiger lily. And then the Taiwanese Nymphaea taiwanensis, just so you know. And then there's another minutia up there that's floating, that's going to go outside. Also, this I've been letting evaporate in here to show you guys the bulbitis getting used to its fern potential. So it will actually start to look again like a sword fern, and on the underside, I don't know if you can make it out, but there are these hard nodes forming under here. Those are going to be the spore clusters. So each of these leaves will start to fray and put out little things. You'll see they'll get more needle-like, like over here. And as that dries out, they'll regrow as these little needle things, and then you'll have a full-on fern with fronds over there. Whereas outside, do I have a fern plant right outside? It's the northwest. Why don't I have a fern plant outside of every room? I don't. I probably have one outside the front window. We'll go walk there just for the visual. So, yeah, we do. So here's a sword fern. These are all over the northwest. This is a very dry one, but they'll start to get like that. The bulbitis is just like this. It is an early plant, which means it has spores, just like a bladderwort or something would. And so it has those typical fern, or with the little fiddle head, spiral top, and then the very frayed leaves. So, yeah. All right, let's see here. Okay, Alyssa has a question. Let me turn this around. Okay, I have a 30-gallon outdoor pond. I have Huchera growing on top of it. I just found out this plant is considered medicinal. Fish killer? I don't know what that plant is. Huchera? Probably pronouncing that totally wrong. It's probably Spanish, right? Huechua? Quechua? I don't know, honestly. I'm a dum-dum. I don't know. I'll look into it now. I'm curious. Oh, wow. So I took all the fish other than one Pandagara out of here because I'm ordering some bettas from Aquatic Arts, because Aquatic Arts, like I said, 30% off all fish and plants through the weekend again, because they're moving and they just need to clear out the buildings. But look at all these baby shrimp. I mean, they're just every freaking few inches on the glass. We got baby shrimp going on. And this is a very low light tank. Other updates, let's move the light real quick just to show you, but these guys have been, I mean, they think it's nighttime almost, so they're not colored up. But these are the Turkana jewel cichlids, and the two big ones are coloring up blood red now when the light's on them. And so, got two big males in there and a female, it looks like, and the other ones are staying small. But it's amazing, they're all the same age, they all came in the same size. And then the other update to give you guys is that the rainbow, the Praecox neon dwarf rainbows, And the little puffers, they're all doing good. The puffers look like they need to eat right now. Like I just want to give them some bloodworms today. I've been giving them snails, but that one looks a little skinny. So they're getting along though. They're not fighting, and that's key. That's key. Also, my marsh killie is doing well. It doesn't like that room. Hold on, let's try the inner this again. All right, let me finish up your questions, and then I'm gonna bounce. Okay, let's see here. Can I grow Ludwigia well if I don't have any iron supplements other than Easy Green? I don't care about red. Oh, totally, yeah. You don't need iron anyways. Iron for Ludwigia rubra is they suggest it, some people, but honestly, starving it of nitrates is better. If I were you, I would work on just getting a tank where your fish are heavily stocked and you have heavy plants, and get a decent light. And those things, a decent light, and then the nitrates and nitrites from your plant being around 40 parts per million, as long as they don't get over that, it'll be okay. Nitrites you want lower than that, but nitrates, as long as they don't get over 30, 40 parts per million, that's in the low zone. To get the real bright reds, you need just a pinch of iron, but there should be enough in the food or substrate or even the other plants in your tank to produce that. It's a very minuscule amount, unless you're dealing with RO water or you have water that is very, very, very soft. You have iron in your water. People think they need to add iron all the time, and the truth is we have just been kind of sold this idea that we need iron because iron's red and orange when we see it oxidize, and so that must be how it works in plants. But that's not even how it works in plants. It's part of the metabolic process that is going on in photosynthesis, and it actually works as a sunscreen pigment. So yeah, let's see here. Thanks for reminding folks to hit the like button. I appreciate that, Lori. And guys, if you want to see Monster Fish, check out Monster Fish Gal. She has a lot of really cool big fish. Patrick, would you like to have 11 papers on? Oh wait, how far behind? Oh, that's like 11 behind. Okay, we answered that. If I use obsidian as my hardscape, will that hurt? No, obsidian is totally inert. It's a glass. You're good to go. It's actually, I like using it. Just be careful not to cut yourself if you're breaking it or trying to chip it into new pieces. I vote we get another month for our contest tanks to grow out. Well, here's the deal. If y'all are interested and everybody's still having a good time and working, and that is the consensus, we can email y'all. And if we see your pictures coming in on August 10th and we're like, man, these could be killer with another month of growth, we'd really get the feel of what's going on, then we'll do that. You know, we will. It's just when we started out to do the contest, we didn't want it to go on for, you know, it's already a 3-month period. 4 months felt like, wow, that's such a long project that too many people are going to drop off. But you guys are a special community. You guys rock. Those of you who come and watch the replays later, who are here every time I stream, you know, that kind of thing, you guys are the 1%, so to speak, of the fish hobby. And so you're definitely you have an attention span that's special, and so we can definitely do whatever you guys want to do. I'm here to make it so we all have fun, all learn something. That's why I've been going out and trying to collect more plants, try to learn more stuff about what I have here that's not in the hobby yet, but that could be. And that's really what I'm working on right now. And then hopefully bringing that info to you guys. And then if that's the case, I can literally go collect a bag full of the stuff. And rather than having to charge $5-10 a stem for Persicaria, you know, or some other, you know, Potamogeton, I can charge $1 or something for my gas and time and, you know, hiking out there. Carolyn, hello. Hey, my name's highlighted. I love your stem plants. What are the easiest without CO2? I have a densely planted tank with no stems. I think I have a video on that, which is the best low-tech stem plants. Or no-tech, it might be. Look up that. If that doesn't answer the question, come back and I will write you an essay. Or we'll talk, you know what I mean? But that's a great question. It's just a long one, and I don't want to roll into everyone else's time a ton tonight. I mean, a few good ones. Ludwigia, any Ludwigia that's not super fine. So if it's a stem plant and it has super fine leaves, there's a good chance you'll lose those leaves. That they'll melt if they're being changed. If the water chemistry is changing heavily. I've got tree leaves on my face and it's rather annoying. Sorry, guys. But if it's got a broadleaf on a stem, so then it's usually pretty easy. So, you know, things like the Ludwigia glandulosa, rubra, super red, the Rotala indica. You want to stay away from the Wallachia or the Hra. Those ones are too fine. Limnophilias are good. Hygrophilas are super easy. The only one that's a little trickier is Hygrophila pinnatophyta. That one can be a little trickier. Potamogeton and Pogostemons are pretty easy. Pogostemon Stellatus octopus is super easy. Water sprite, water wisteria. Those are all super low tech, no tech. You could keep them in a shoebox in the closet kind of ones. It done a lot of times. You should look up Hucheras because they're gorgeous and native and North American native. Okay, I will totally. I definitely will. Christopher Walken, your sweet potato, huh? Oh, man, is this like some class of plant that I'm missing out on? I'm gonna see it and be like, that's what those are. Hukura? Why don't I know that plant? It's an aquatic plant. The common name for them is foam flowers. Okay, you guys, I feel like a whole new world has been opened to me. Thank you, guys. Oh, I see my name highlighted. Oh, wait, but it didn't work with Ruby Peaches. That's odd. But I see that you tried to. That's what counts. I would love some Creeping Jenny. Can't find it in Texas. It's all over Texas. That's not to say that it's anywhere near you, but it looks very different on land. Google Creeping Jenny, and it's probably in nurseries and ditches, like, or not nurseries, but like plant beds all around you, I would guess. Creeping Jenny, Creeping Charlie, they're really similar. All the creepings, they start and they go up and they look kind of like springy and crunchy, like celery would have like that crunch to the leaves, or lettuce, and then they all of a sudden tip and then they become a vine like ivy and they crawl or creep, and underwater they stay crunchy. Ryan Wells, what plants would be great for growing half submersed, half immersed? Oh boy, that is an entire... That's everything we've been talking about this month. It's a great question, but it's a big question, and pretty much most aquatic plants, with the exception of floating plants, apongatons or aponogetons, however you want to say it, and crypts. Crypts don't do a good job half under, half above. They kind of want to be all or nothing. Anubias does well. Boost does well. Sword plants do great if you allow them to grow up past it. And then again, any stem plant, almost any stem plant, other than maybe Myaka. Myaka works too. It just takes a while. It's very floppy until it gets over that hump. Like we were saying here, I showed you guys last live stream, if you want to go back and look at it. We talked about this exact subject. bamboo water plants, yeah, and peace lilies, all that stuff's great for just if you just want roots under the water. But as you can see, this is all rotala coming out of the water here. Let me get some of the duckweed out of the way to show you how bright colors this plant is. I mean, this is CO2, this is ferts, this is highlight. Dang it. Come on. Bring it on home to me, light. But it takes a bit of energy for it to crest the water, and then you start to feel the plant getting a little dry or a little bit of rubber, a little rubbery, and then all of a sudden one day it'll just perk up, and come on, why can't we see this? It'll just perk up, and you'll notice pieces staying above the water on their own. Now that can take a few days, it can take 2 or 3 months. It just depends on the species. Like I said, any of these fine needled ones like Atraea, or Wallachia rotala, Limnophilia, sometimes they don't want to come. They don't want to come above the water. But anything with a sturdy stem, with a stem that feels like either hollow or like it would crunch, or you could use scissors to cut it best, all those plants, whether that's cardinal, or I mean a temple plant, AR mini, AR variegated, that's Alternanthera renickii, any of these, they will run as long as they have water to run. But if you tell them they need to go up, you can basically also use a light shield. So if you put a piece of plastic or something like rigid plastic from a binder or something, you can put that here, and they're gonna know that they can't just keep running, and so they'll grow up the binder to go to the light. But technically I should be raising, if that's what I want, this is how you would do. Hold on, I can't turn the phone, I can't zoom the phone without this, but that's how you do it. And that's what's going on here, is it's actually been growing from the reflection off the wall here from the glossy paint. All right, look out for the creeps, that's right. And creep, dun, 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 dun. Okay, everything practically sold on Aquatic Arts stem plants. I do love Son of Quack. Yeah, they're selling everything. Literally, they have to sell, well, almost everything, because they don't have, they were supposed to have tanks. They don't have tanks at the new place because the glass manufacturing from China is like, nope, just kidding. We were going to have it built and ready for you when, like, so they were going to have all their old tanks and their new tanks at the new place. Now they just have their old tanks. And so they're going to have to move everything. Their lease ends, and then they, like, in 2 or 3 days, have to move everything in a, I think it's 100,000 square feet or something like that, from in the old warehouse to like a 400,000 square foot warehouse. It's going to be a huge increase. It's going to be like a Walmart size facility they're moving to, I think. So, and it'll have a retail storefront. Hey, you can see the gimbal. Sorry, I'm a child. Hey, it's my wife. Hi, wife. But I got to get going because of the reason why you look nice. She's in some David Bowie looking outfit with stars and glitter and her hair up. You want to come here? Come stand here. Look, you'll glitter. You'll look so pretty. Just come here for a minute. I have to show you guys my cool wife. She's pretty cool. Lara, come here.
Oh, look at this beautiful lighting.
Yeah, why aren't you lit up? Well, she's got little metallic stars all over her. I'm lit up for some reason. Why aren't you lit up? Are you that much shorter? Okay. So, in any case, I got to get going. I think there's other folks streaming. And if anybody who aren't those duckweeds preventing grounded plants from flourishing? Yes, but I have a Fluval 3.0, CO2, and an Archeon light just blasting over it. Aw, thank you. You have a comment, honey. Beautiful lady. That's my husband, my wife. I'm her husband. But yeah, we gotta go out on the town and thank my wife for allowing me to be a crazy man and spend so much time with y'all. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you guys later. If you have more questions relevant to this stream, just drop them in the comments. And yeah, also we should have the videos up hopefully this weekend about, I just need to edit things too, but about all the local fish collected. We've got some beautiful pictures and some good film, so it should be good. And the air conditioner is right here. So the new one came, yay, and hopefully the concert venue is AC tonight. Who knows, whatever. But thank you guys for all your comments. Sorry if I missed anything. If I did, I'll always try to get to it if you leave the comment after the stream. And, you know, thank you for your questions. Thanks for hanging out and chatting plants. And, yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.